Hey, what's up, YouTube? Brendan coming at you from the surface of the sun here in Durham, North Carolina. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Brendan coming at you from Top Secret Imports in Durham, North Carolina. Wanted to give you a little rundown of some feature inventory we have fresh in from Japan and our export partner Trademaster Co, the Japanese used car exporters known far and wide as one of the best in the business. We're going to take a little walk around of all of these vehicles, talk to you more about them, show you the differences between the second generation 1998s and third generation 1999 Kei trucks, and show you some of the elite level stuff that we bring in, including custom turbo wagons and more. Check it out. So next up on this feature inventory video is everybody's favorite iconic little Kei truck, the HA4 four-wheel drive Honda Acti. This is the tail end of the second generation Acti, and it's got much to like. If you're in the market for an HA4, if you're in the market for one of the original cab-over designed Kei trucks, the Honda Acti is by far the most popular truck in the US. Of course, you get that iconic Honda badge on the front end, known really for its reliability and robust performance. This little Honda Acti 1998 model, HA4 four-wheel drive. This truck features air conditioning and the 5-speed manual transmission. And like the previous truck, this truck has come in through our export partner Trademaster Co Limited. Again, if you didn't check out the link the first time I asked you to, you really should this time. I'm going to leave it on the screen a little longer so that you can go ahead and click on it. Maybe give them a follow on Instagram. Can we get that one under here and hold that for a sec? Trademaster Co Limited. I can't talk enough about the quality and the kinds of units that they deliver. So this HA4 Honda Acti just arrived, and I mean just arrived. Last couple of weeks, we brought it in, brought it through customs, brought it up here to our lot, and we literally had to wash it, check over all of the maintenance and services that were done prior to export, double check all of the major systems that were operating correctly when it left Japan, and post it for sale. This truck is really, really an impeccably clean unit. You've got just a little bit of surface corrosion and dimpling underneath and kind of some of the typical areas. We're going to take you through this one a little bit closer than we did the last one. As you can see, mainly original, very limited undercoating. You've got probably some touch-up paint, maybe an older repaint on that headache rack. You have virtually no dents or dings in this little unit. Little corrosion at the bottom of the rack. Little wear on the back and inside of the bed. Just again, indicative of the years of service this truck and these sorts of trucks give folks in Japan. You know, the front end is really just kind of a few little dings, rock chips, and what looks to be maybe maybe a tree sap type staining kind of dotting it here and there in the front. Our export partners, Trademaster, the one thing we love about working with them is that when we're shipping customers out to a port of their choosing direct from Japan, these trucks come in with brand new tires. It's got a brand new Japanese market battery. As you can see in here, you've got your overflow tank properly filled between min and max. All of the services have actually been done on this truck for you and for us. All we really have to do is check this inventory over, clean it up. I mean, the door cards are just spotless. It does feature the little Japanese market seat covers here because, the Acti interiors, even the cleanest and freshest looking interiors are notorious for splitting at the seams a little bit. And I actually think it's the driver's seat that may have a little split in it. But again, the JDM market seat covers are, kind of a sought after little accessory. A lot of people use them in the truck. Great alternative to fully reupholstering your seats, and really just completes this truck's sort of JDM look. You've got the little spring cup holders that the original owner or maybe, second owner added in Japan. It still features like the OE Honda tape deck, so it had sort of the upgraded quality head unit from back in the day. Factory Alpine, in fact. factory air conditioning, cargo lamp, still functional of course, all the major systems. Comes in, I mean, even all the bulbs are working, headlights, tail lights, directionals, just gorgeous little truck. You know, this, you know, like many over in Japan, at some point somebody had upgraded the wheels to like a 13-inch alloy. But again, I don't even know if you can see this on camera here, but these brand new tires have an early 2025 date code. If you're unaware of this, tires are all date coded. So when you're bringing in an import, if you can find this little 4-digit code, oftentimes in a little oval here, doesn't really matter what the letters say beforehand. Oftentimes it'll just be the 4-digit numbers. But 0725 means the date of manufacture, not sale or not installation. When these were actually manufactured was the 7th week of 2025, which, you know, I'm not very good at math, but I believe that's like the 2nd or 3rd week of February. Here we are in late July in 2025, and those are the tires it's wearing. Now, we have a number of imports that we've brought in over the last few years, and I'm talking about hundreds. And I've seen tires arrive on trucks that were put on the truck when Saddam Hussein was still alive. Now, I'm nearly 50 years old, and all I'm trying to say there is that is an incredibly old tire. So, you know, the inside of the HA4, of course, this is the quintessential Honda Kei Truck. This is the one that everybody wants, everybody talks about. More on that later. Honda's great. Again, Honda's going to win the popularity contest every day in the US because of that Honda H on the hood. Very nice, but Spartan little Kei Truck. You know, the SDXs and things like that from back in the day, really pretty free of creature comforts here. So you do have factory air conditioning. Thank heavens it was spec'd in this vehicle. I actually think the OE Alpine head unit here is a pretty rare find to still have it intact. Again, largely original interior here. The plastics just look phenomenal. The touch points have very little wear, but yet this thing's got like 80,000 US miles. So, you know, again, few miles more than you might see or find in other examples, but the miles don't really tell the whole story. You know, it's more about how was the vehicle used, how was it maintained. I would much rather buy a 75,000 mile, 25-year-old truck that was used 3,000 miles every year of its life, rather than one that has 30,000 original miles but sat in a field for the last 10. So, you know, something to consider, and we'll show you more about that on some of these videos about importing your own Kei Truck. Maybe we can insert one here because there are some pitfalls to look out for. So, and a way to find out the last time your truck was registered. Anyway, we're going to take this for a test drive here in a few minutes, and but again, just to show you the little carbureted units, I'm just depressing the clutch, although there is no safety switch in these. And again, this one was moved out here. Goodness, it's now been probably 45 minutes, an hour ago. Super hot, like 180 million degrees, surface of the sun out here in our parking lot this morning. And it's so hot! You know, this is a turn the key and run right into the air conditioning being on. Again, you know, idling normal. That of course, for you non-Kei Truck people, that's the e-brake. So when the emergency brake is on, boop, that little light is on. See? I don't want to roll downhill, but boop, 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 boop. So no lights on, no problems. That's what we call a dealer full tank right there, and just a pip over the red line. But yeah, Trademaster. I mean, this is just absolutely gorgeous inventory right here, and really, I mean, just represents huge value. You know, you take a truck like this that's been driven a few more miles over its life, but it's been driven every mile of its life across 25 years rather than just in the first 12 or 15, and you're going to get just a fantastic truck. So the 98 Acti 4-wheel drive, air-conditioned HA4. We're going to just run this through its paces, right up the street, right back down. We're going to drive this one pretty gingerly since this is a customer car. Leaving the lot here, we just take off in second gear again, like all of our Kei trucks. This being a Honda, the 98, no different than the 99. You still have the little tick marks indicating when you should exit each gear. So we're really going to throw third gear all the way to the top of the range here at about 60, 65 kilometers an hour before we upshift into fourth. And here we are. So again, 45 mile per hour road out here in front of the dealership. And that's going to transition into a 55 mile per hour zone here. We're now accelerating downhill in fourth gear at about 90, 95 kilometers an hour. Upshift into fifth gear, maintaining that speed. We're just going to come up through the light. Same little loop. We're going to hit those two rural roundabouts, rip it right back down the road to the dealership so we can give you a spin in all of them this afternoon without it taking forever and killing every battery we have for microphones and cameras and things. So again, just kind of holding speed there in fifth now as I'm approaching the highway. I forgot about that under tray that's laying in the highway there. I should have my Waze running. We're going to be kind of pinned here, heading up the hill into the highway, going about 60 miles an hour. We are at, losing just a touch of speed up the hill there, at about 9,500 kilometers an hour here, and now easily accelerating downhill. I just got passed by a Bentley. Got a little distracted too and ended up on the right side of the road. So like I was saying, the car scene in Raleigh-Durham, man, no joke. So again, fifth gear, air conditioning, full blast, right? So we're sapping a little power. These came factory naturally aspirated 3 cylinders at 39 horsepower. So that AC, when it's on, will sap a little power. I'm gonna turn that off for the ride back. We've got it nice and cool in the cabin. Again, windows all the way up. We're coming up on that rural roundabout now, and we're gonna continue to drive it pretty gingerly, but at the same time, I'm gonna show you just how very nimble these Kei trucks are. As I downshift into third, I've really barely tapped my brakes, and I'm gonna lean it through the rural roundabout quickly enough to send the old sold file sliding back over the bridge here, just crossing where that freeway starts. Again, 98 Honda Acti, part of the second generations. They were made from 90 to 98, carbureted. Of course, these had a distributor and rotor setup on the ignition system, which went right from the coil and plug wires to the spark plugs. Nice little units. Again, with the air conditioning off, you're really maxing out that 39 horsepower from factory. So we're up at about 90 kilometers an hour or 55 miles an hour, climbing back up the same hill that we came by on the way here. Again, about 100 kilometers an hour now. So technically, if it's reading exactly right, that's about 62 miles an hour. And now as we're accelerating downhill here, we're coming up on 120 kilometers an hour. In fact, I had a Silverado coming up on my left that thought he was going to pass me until I dropped the hammer. 3 cylinders, 660 cc's of fury. They were rubbernecking pretty hard, like as if to say WTF about the Kei Truck outpacing them. Now I got a Mazda making evasive action behind me. I got Kias making evasive action in front of me. By the way, folks, Highway 70 in East Durham and South Miami Boulevard out here has some of the worst drivers in North Carolina on its roads every day. We see more accidents. In fact, my guys have been hit out here when traffic was at a dead stop because people literally have their face in their lap looking at their phones or replying to emails. It's bonkers. But you'll have people cutting through traffic out here, a lot of big Ultima energy and whatnot. And then you get up to the next stoplight and you're sitting right there with them. Doesn't make any sense. At any rate, I digress. HA4, the end of the second generation Honda Actis, 98 model, air conditioned, getting a little warm in here, so I turned the AC on. There's some slower traffic up ahead. We're cruising along again at about 45 miles an hour.